The BBC, one of the best-known news brands in the world, accustomed to asking the questions, failing right now to provide answers on one of the biggest scandals in its history. It began as one of the biggest scoops in journalism. The Diana interview 25 years ago won the BBC and the then almost unknown young reporter Martin Bashir multiple awards and cued us around the world. Now it's branded an interview born out of deceit and deviousness, leaving the BBC facing damning criticism at the very highest levels. It's understood the Director General of the BBC, Tim Davie, has written to Prince Charles to apologise for Bashir's lurid and untrue claims. But there is also the question of what Lord Dyson called the covering up. An internal investigation led by the then Director General Tony Hall in 1996, which cleared Martin Bashir and BBC News of wrongdoing, was described as woeful. Then Lord Hall rehired Martin Bashir in 2016, knowing he had lied.
Do you condone Martin Bashir's use of fake facts?
As I said to you, I investigated at the time. I will take part in the Lord Dyson inquiry.
Today he stood down from his role as chairman of the National Gallery. In a statement he said, "I have today resigned as chair of the National Gallery. I have always had a strong sense of public service, and it is clear my continuing in the role would be a distraction to an institution I care deeply about." The BBC have turned down our interview request since the publication of the Dyson report, but in a statement said that it had made substantial changes in its governance since the 1990s. But there is no doubt it remains under pressure over whether that will be deemed enough.
I think that what really matters for the BBC is that they put in place what is needed to ensure that this sort of thing can never happen again.
But before going forward, there is also history to deal with. The BBC also faces questions over what it must do now about the lives and reputations damaged by the scoop of the century, a story built on lies and deceit. Well, earlier I spoke to the former Panorama producer, Mark Killick. He worked on the programme for a decade and says he was sacked after he alerted management to the existence of the forged bank statements. He's currently considering legal action against the corporation. I began by asking him what did he do exactly when he began to feel nervous about Martin Bashir and what he was doing.
Well, I was brought the forged documents and had to decide what to do with them. So I talked to a BBC lawyer, and the BBC lawyer said, you've got to refer these up. I also talked to Martin Bashir as well, just in case there was an explanation. Myself and a couple of colleagues took these documents to senior management, and within 24 hours, I was told I would no longer run the programme because I was disloyal.
What did you make of that at the time?
Well, I thought it was a little bit harsh, actually. I've been on the programme for 10 years. I'd won a fair number of awards for them. It clearly wasn't an appropriate thing to do, and it was the start of the cover-up that Lord Dyson so comprehensively covers.
It is one of the most damning aspects of this story, isn't it, though? The idea that people went to BBC management and said, we are really nervous about what is happening here, and you are the ones who are got rid of.
I think that's right. And one of the key things in the Dyson report is who authorised the BBC smear campaign against the whistleblowers. I mean, it's very clear there was a campaign. Lord Dyson says so, but he also doesn't say who did it. And somebody authorised the BBC to turn its fire on its own employees.
We know that Lord Tony Hall rehired Martin Bashir, despite knowing at that stage that Martin Bashir was more than capable and had lied. Is it enough that he stood down from the National Gallery today?
Well, I think Lord Hall did the right thing. What the Dyson report shows is the BBC management knew that Martin Bashir had lied and fabricated documents, but they still rehired him. Why they doubled down on a man that they knew was a liar is beyond me. But I think there are bigger issues. I think things like, what should the BBC do with those who've been hurt by this scandal? I don't mean myself, I mean others who've been much more hurt. And also, can we leave the policing of editorial standards to the BBC anymore? I mean, these are the bigger questions, I think.
I mean, that is one of the main questions, isn't it? Because the BBC has already investigated this issue internally, an investigation described as woefully inadequate by Lord Dyson. Can it be trusted, in your view, to sort itself out now?
The BBC has an incredibly elaborate editorial policy machine, but when the chips were down on the most high profile of those investigations, it comprehensively failed. And I think the BBC, rather reluctantly, is going to have to look at an external figure now to make sure they can be trusted in future.
I mean, what toll has it taken on you personally?
It's been with me for a long time, and I welcome the Dyson report starting to clear this up, but I don't think the publication of the Dyson report is enough. The BBC has also said it's sent out apologies to everybody. The good and the great, I think, have all received letters. I'm not so sure that any of the BBC staffers have received anything yet.
Have you received anything?
No, as a matter of fact, I haven't.
And what do you feel about that?
Some have been apologised to. It may be process. It may simply take longer to send some letters out than others. But it is strange that not everybody. It's strange that not everybody has yet received a letter of apology, given that the BBC have so comprehensively said that they have apologised to everyone. And
as you say, there are other people who have perhaps been even more damaged than you. You lost your job. We look at the graphic designer, Matt Weisler, who gives every sense of a man whose life has been almost destroyed by this.
Matt Weisler was one of the finest graphic designers of his generation. The BBC cut him off, destroyed his career, and it's extraordinary. The damage done by the BBC to Matt Weisler is virtually incalculable.
Obviously, there are still many things to be sorted out in terms of perhaps compensation for those people like yourself who either lost their jobs or whose lives were very, very badly damaged by this. But the very fact of Lord Dyson's report now out in public, what does that mean to you?
Well, it's an incredibly powerful report. It really spells out that Martin Bashir was a dishonest reporter and that the BBC was incompetent and failed miserably. But as I said, there are a number of questions still to be answered, so I don't think this saga is over quite yet.
Mark Killick, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you.